And let's go ahead and send it over one more time to our commentators.
Here we go. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Noah. That's Monte Cristo. Welcome to the very first match of the 2017 Overwatch World Cup. China versus Romania. Should be an interesting match. We've got number 1 SR versus 32 SR. Romania barely squeaking in there, but they made it. They're here. They're going to show us what they got, right?
Yeah, and I do agree with the desk. When you take a look at these matchups, the DPS are going to be very important. Unfortunately, one of the best Romanian DPS players, Shatter2K, couldn't actually make it to participate on the Romanian team. So they're really going to have to step it up. Of course, we know Meza from Bazooka Puppies. And so we have some professional players on this side, but you look at China and they're very scary. LGD surprisingly upset in the Overwatch Premier Series finals, and they feel that with the 2 additions of the IGI players, that this is actually going to be a stronger roster than the one that competed in the sort of more official tournament team-focused finals of Overwatch Premier.
Right, well, it's like the desk was saying. I mean, these 6 players may not be individually the best players in their roles in China, but together they felt that this was the group that had the best synergy to take the match. And China, of course, going out in the semifinals, or I'm sorry, the round of 8 in last year's World Cup. So we'll see if they can do a little bit better this time around. We're going to start things out on Hollywood, one of my favorite maps. I love playing on Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it will be China selecting, since they are the higher seed. Every subsequent map will be selected by the losing team. Also worth noting that control maps will be best of 3 for this World Cup.
Yep, that's right. Makes sense. Otherwise, we'd be here a long time. A long time. But first things first, get things going on Hollywood. China versus Romania. And Romania, of course, I mean, they're coming into this, and I gotta say, when you compare the expectations of the fans, right? Here we are in Shanghai. We've got the Chinese home team crowd, and they're going to really be looking for their team to crush these guys, right? They don't want any mercy just because it's a show match, just because it's fun. No, they want to see China win, just like everyone wants to see Lucio DJ. But Romania, you know, they're here. I don't think they're really, they don't have that same kind of expectations. They don't have the same kind of weight on them. So I'm hoping they can just kind of have fun with it.
They have said that they have prepared a number of sort of more surprising strats for this event. But
That's what I'm wondering about.
China definitely, you know, both teams taking it seriously, but China went through a very in-depth roster tryout process. We talked to some of their committee members. They tried out over 24 people before winnowing it down to these 6.
Right.
So pinning a lot of hope on the Chinese team.
Now we will find out. Looks like we do have China on the attack first of all. So Romania setting their defense up as we check out the doors. Emka up on the cafe with the Soldier 76. And looking at the comps, nothing too out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, China running wow.
Whoa, those fans. I like it. Let's get this on. Undead coming in with the Tracer right away, as you would expect.
Yeah, pretty standard dive composition here from China. Running, of course, the Zenyatta with the high mobility of Tracer, Genji, Winston, and Diva.
Yeah.
Meza, though, hiding in the back. Undead doing a long flank around the backside of Cafe.
Yeah, already harassing a bit. Undead. Oh, they get the kill into Meza early on. Already, Romania in a lot of trouble as Emka falls. And this may be a very quick point A take for China.
And that was just sneaky.
They
played a slow, deliberate approach and eliminated Meza, the main tank, immediately. That's going to make it very, very easy for them to go ahead and take point A here on Hollywood.
Yeah, I would say. And, you know, I mean, if you looked at Romania's setup, they kind of had Meza off to the right side on that Winston, ready to sort of jump on the back line as China filed through. But I think they gave him a little bit too much purchase on the point. They let him get in there a little bit too quickly and kind of split themselves up, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, too, for Romania. They have to take the high ground here in this sort of, I guess, Wild West set phase here of Hollywood quickly, but difficult because they have to use those elevators to get the Soldier and the Ana up onto the high ground, and China's already posting on top of the buildings.
That's the thing, man. Sometimes those elevators don't want to cooperate, and yeah, China taking that high ground a little bit early. Undead getting pretty close to his pulse bomb. Meanwhile, Meza kind of on his own, getting protected by Rank on the Diva, but there's a pulse bomb, comes out. No kills from that. Thought it might have almost been absorbed, but it wasn't. Meza falls either way. Probably ate a bit of damage from that Tracer ultimate. Meanwhile, Kukabao just trying to do whatever damage he can from behind, but you know, he's isolated as well. They're so ready for him. Like the the attack that China's putting on seems to just be very impenetrable. I feel like I'm watching a phalanx come through here, right, where they're really ready for these flanks.
Yeah, and Kukubao going down late there, so Shy getting the pick on Zenyatta. Meanwhile, China just approaching more and more ultimates as we speak. They'll have an easy time pushing through.
ML7 drops down to the 6 Zenyatta kill. Meza nearly with that primal rage, but Eileen pulling out the Dragon Blade. Only 1 kill on Sema, but it's gonna be enough. You can see the kill feed lighting up for China. And I don't know, man. MG on this Diva looks like he's not really being able to be displayed. Shy coming in with that Transcendence just to keep people healthy. If you're going to get stalled out on point 2 Hollywood, this is going to be about where it's going to happen. But China doesn't look like they're really going to be stopped at all here.
No, Transcendence came up in the nick of time to keep the Chinese team alive. Followed up by the self-destruct.
Well, MG popped out of the mech, but didn't get a lot out of that. Meanwhile, Kukubao has to watch the rest of his team fall all around him, and that's going to be point B, taken by China with not really a lot of resistance for Romania.
I mean, right now, China is just controlling zones extremely well. You look at how they're pushing people off the cart and away, sort of playing man-to-man defense, but all the Romanian DPS players simply can't get in onto the support. They haven't had any success. So forward attack here. Pulse bomb is there.
The bait is trying to lure him in. Oh, they're not going to take the bait, though. No, that's one of the older tricks in the book, but once in a while it works out. Rank jumping down. Romania with a last-ditch effort defense. They drop the sound barrier. They really need a big fight out of this, but with Undead already taking down ML7, it's not a great start for Romania. And that may have been kind of the last vestiges of their defense here as China looks ready to kind of roll through Hollywood.
They haven't really had any resistance at all yet, though. It has been just a total clean sweep through this entire map.
Sure has. Kukubao with that pulse bomb, but he's going to need like a 5K if he wants to stop this payload from moving. And I don't think even 5 kills at this point would be enough to stop them. Oh man, Shy has a Transcendence. There's just no way that China's going to lose this fight. They've got the sound barrier. They've got the other support ultimate to follow this up if they even need it. MG even getting that sweet, sweet Diva ult kill onto Meza. And that is going to be about that. 0.32 meters away as Eileen cleans it up with the Dragon Blade. 3 kills to finish it off.
350 on the clock. That is a huge, massive time bank for Hollywood. And that is going to be very tough for them to overcome as Romania looks to have a pretty serious attack here through all 3 points on Hollywood.
Yeah, I would say so.
Looks like we may have some issues with Noah's microphone right now. I cannot hear you at all, so we'll work through that. But in the meantime, looking at this first attack, it's been very difficult for Romania to get absolutely anything done here. Target selection has been excellent for China so far, focusing down the Discord orb targets, and they don't really have much else to work with when it comes down to it. So Romania have to have a very quick attack time as we try and work through some of these audio issues. Sorry guys for the delay. Right now, looks like we may have an interesting defense coming through from China, actually, with a Sombra defending here on Hollywood A, something that we see occasionally, but less of a static high ground defense.
Oh, hey, I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back. We're good now. Sorry to leave you alone for a moment there, Monte Cristo.
It's okay.
Don't worry, I'll never leave you alone for the next 4 weeks. We're traveling the world together.
Wow, that's way to bring me down, man. Way to bring me down.
I'm sorry. That's how it is. Separate hotel rooms, though, don't worry. But I'll be there, rappelling off the roof to looking through your window at night.
I knew it. I always suspected. I always suspected.
That was me.
So Eileen on the Sombra. We are going to see the Ana and the Soldier. Pretty typical defense for Hollywood A. As long as you're not going to be super vulnerable to the dive. They will be running the Diva, though, so they can reposition onto the high ground and have some of the DPS damage blocked.
Yeah, ML7
also on the Sombra, but not going to find any real good health backs. I don't think they were expecting a Sombra defense.
You know, there is one kind of on the side by security that you can get a big health back. Off to the left where Eileen is running right now. That's the one you'd want to do if you're ML7 on that attack Sombra, but I agree that Hollywood isn't the greatest map geographically wise to run this attack, Sombra. We'll see how it works out. Romania jumping in. Ooh, but they are going to get stuffed in the doorway. Oh, that is brutal. China. China's
just been so decisive thus far. No hesitation on their assaults onto the flanks, and they read that very well, didn't allow them to get back through around to a rear health pack. And I think you just have to switch off the Sombra pretty quick here if you are Romania, because you're just not going to get the hacks that you want. You either are going to have to fall back to the Mega behind security, or hope that you can get a very lucky EMP, but the EMP build will be so slow.
I mean, ML7 is only about 40% into his ult. That is a snail's crawl for a Sombra ult building. So, yeah, things are not going great. Rank trying to come around the side with the Genji, but we'll see what he can do. They've managed to take Cafe. That's a good start. Oh, but Eileen comes in with a much faster EMP, and where's the follow-up for China? They need to make something out of this. Kukabao does go down. Meza looking a little bit low there. Yao Yao kind of surrounded, but he's got his team to support him, and they are going to be just fine.
Well, for Romania now, it has to be about ML7's EMP. So they knew they got the EMP out of the enemy, but they still are going to be dealing with a nano-boosted tactical visor from Undead. So MK needs to focus on the positioning, dealing with the soldier, but you know what? They're being sneaky, Doa. They're not playing the high ground. They're playing the back of the point and said they will not expect the soldier to be ulting from that angle.
Yeah. Very true. ML7 finally. Oh, he uses the EMP immediately, though. They need a huge follow-up from that. I really don't know about that EMP, but Romania is going to try to go for it. Rank does get one kill onto Undead. They do deny that tac visor. And look at this. This may actually be what Romania needs to take point A. I was really suspicious of that EMP, but it looks like it might actually work out here.
Yeah, and they found their way all the way around the back. So the D.Va MK was positioned to get the defensive matrix down onto the ulting soldier. So bit of luck there with the soldier popping out. He was not hit by that EMP, so was able to activate it. Romania, fortunately, in the right position, had the read, and they will take point A.
I think it's pretty safe to say China was not expecting the EMP to come from that angle.
No.
That was a unique attack by Romania, and it worked out. They've got the payload moving now. They've got a chance, but unfortunately, they've already got less time in the time bank than China did total when they finished. And even when they take point B, I don't think that's really going to change. So Romania going to be fighting from behind whether or not they finish point A, or Hollywood rather.
And the difference here is that between Romania's attack and China's attack is the EMP comes through.
Yeah, Eileen, oh man, it's a shooting gallery onto MK there. Can't quite get the hack off, but with that sound barrier, they should be able to roll in, and yeah, plenty of kills. MG even getting 3 with the D.Va. Whoa. All right, that's a powerful left click sometimes, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
What do you know? That primary fire.
As I was saying, like, China has had more opportunities to get and hold onto the high ground. Romania could never really post up there because of when they died and respawned after their attack. So China much more entrenched at the moment.
A no kill from the self-destruct, but that's okay. More of a zoning thing. MG throws out his now, and Romania's got to watch out. Okay, no kills on the China side either for that D.Va self-destruct, but Undead manages to pop Kemka back out of the mech. Romania drops the sound barrier. They're going to have to get on this point in a hurry, and Rank jumping in, kill immediately onto Undead.
Sleep dart!
6 sleep dart from Shy. Stopped Rank in his tracks, and he was nano boosted to that, and ultimate on Romania's side. Wasted.
And now nano boost onto the Winston yet again. Haven't been focusing really on getting the big soldier ultimates off. Instead, it's the cleanup onto the Genji as Yao Yao comes in onto the Winston, and this has been a pretty impressive defense from China so far. Time ticking off the clock, only 2 minutes remaining to make it to point B. Well, China's going to be coming in with another EMP and tactical visor.
You know, they were pushed back a little bit. We do see the tanks for Romania able to kind of zone China out, but Meza can't get back to his team fast enough. He's already down. So this push for Romania may be already stopped cold, and it really looks like it is.
EMP used once again there by Eileen. Comes in just for the cleanup after Meza went down. So they hold on to their other ultimates. Ult economy looking good for China. And we've seen Undead play low ground soldier quite a bit. He hasn't really been on the high ground at all. So trying to be sneaky, but this time he'll go up top.
Taking the elevator up. Kind of dangerous to just have it running all the time like that. Maybe OSHA violation there, but who knows? Undead trying to fight off the attackers on the high ground, waiting for a chance to pop that tac visor. Not even going to need it right now. Nice.
Sleep dart.
Celebration sleep dart onto Mini D.Va there. MK dying in The most unfortunate way is Yao Yao comes in for a little bit of cleanup. Just Mario stomps Emma, and that's going to be Romania having to reset. And now, as you heard the announcer say, 60 seconds on the clock for this attack round. And I got to say, this map looks like China's. Yeah,
China stuffed that dive very nicely. So we saw the high ground fight, but in the meantime, MG actually dropped his self-destruct on the low ground so that they had a multi-man advantage on the high ground, so they easily able to clean up and then snowball the fight from there. So again, the zones and positioning from China have been excellent so far, and Romania has not had any answers to actually get the 6v6 fights they've been looking for.
Oh, Rank's Genji ultimates have been pretty sick, so maybe he can come up with a big one here, but oh no, Nano Visor comes out undead, taking the Soldier ultimate, get a little bit of help from the Ana, and that's going to be another cleanup for Team China. Now just 15 seconds left on the clock, only the ult for ML7 remaining. And, well, never mind. I guess they have the Dragon Blade too, so they can pull out the Nano Blade. They need to get in there in a hurry, though, and then they need a long OT push, so it's unlikely.
5King also has to be able to hit the sound barrier at the right time. If Romania...
Oh, 7 down. Here we go. China coming in for the last fight they'll need to win Hollywood. People are avoiding that self-destruct. And it looks like that might just be enough. Yeah, China, they're going to take the map.
That last fight was very well executed by China.
Yes, it was.
When they came in, so they realized that both the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade were up. So they waited until Rank got picked off without pulling out Genji's ultimate, and then went ahead and used the sound barrier right afterwards. So very effective play. Didn't waste the sound barrier at all. They were waiting for the Dragon Blade to come out, but once the pick happened, they knew they could just clean up the fight.
I mean, just impeccable ult usage, and Rank does get the play of the match in the end. He did have some pretty great Genji play, but at the end of the day, it was the strategy for Team China. You know, it was the ult management, it was the positioning, and just, you know, as we watch this pretty sick, admittedly, 3-kill from Rank, you know, you got to go back, I think, to that attack round for China, and just the way they were able to push forward is sort of this triangle, and whatever part of that triangle got pressure from Romania just moved out a little bit farther and were able to take out those flankers. Really beautiful attack from China.
Flank control, I absolutely agree with you, Doe, was absolutely critical to China's win while the payload was moving. There were never opportunities for Romania's Tracer and Genji players really to attack the supports or to try and get onto the enemy DPS. Instead, they are playing the 1v1 matchups, and China was just coming out on top every time.
Absolutely. Well, here we are. We got to wait to see what the next map is going to be in this 4-map match between China and Romania. Remember, it's not quite a best of. It's a points-based system. So basically, we play 4 maps, and whoever has the most wins at the end wins the match. And if we end up with 2 maps apiece, we play that tiebreaker on Oasis.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be interesting because, as you say, it's a point-based system within the round robin. So very important. Every map really does matter. And we are going to play, of course, all 4 different kinds of maps. So we do get to see hybrid, escort, assault, and control. So if you have a specialty, at least you're going to be able to get in there and try and work on that. So control will be next, and it will be the selection of Romania. So we'll see what they're feeling confident on.
Well, if there's anything, they probably shouldn't pick Lijiang Tower against China. I feel like that's a risky pick here.
I know, and I'd be really worried as well if, you know, besides, of course, the China Lijiang Tower jokes.
Well, they told us yesterday, too. It's like, we asked them, what's your favorite map? And they're like, well, Lijiang Tower, of course. I'm like, oh, yeah, should have predicted that one. Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you look at the way that China was controlling the flanks, it's still going to be super difficult because so oftentimes in the current meta, we are seeing dive compositions versus dive compositions. Lots of Tracer Genji pairings. And so when you have that, less soldier on most of the control points, then you're going to be dealing with, these one-on-one battles. And China was sort of consistently winning those. So a brawl, I don't think, is really going to work out for Romania. I think if Romania is going to win, they have to come out with some more decisive approaches and strategies to the escort maps and to the assault maps, really.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we had a chance to sit down and talk with all these teams this week to sort of kind of get prepared for this. And every team was saying, oh, our favorite map type right now is control. You can really see the effect of the dive meta in action. Well, everybody's like, you know what we're really good at? Playing dive.
I think that's actually shocking. I think it's actually twofold because many of these teams have not had a lot of time to practice. Control is the easiest map type to play if you don't have set strategies from a team, right? Because you're not coordinating really complex strategic approaches, and it's more based on mechanics, target selection, and individual ability, as opposed to team coordination for long flanks. But China certainly looked prepared for that on Hollywood.
Oh yeah, well, we'll see how they look on Nepal. That will be our control map that we go to right about now. And a chance for Romania to come back and grab a point. And, you know, if any map is going to be kind of the equalizer between these two teams, it's going to be a control map, right? This is where players get to brawl, they get to scrap, they just get to fight it out, right? And so if you maybe don't have that tight escort offense or escort defense, here you can just be that solo queue superstar, right? So we'll see how Romania does.
Yeah, and Rank has to be the breakout player for Romania right now. We saw him and his ultimate in conjunction with MK's good use of the defensive matrix from the D.Va, opening up that point A on Hollywood. We need to see more multi-kills with a Genji Dragon Blade, that kind of play in order to crack China, I think.
I think so. And I mean, Ranked certainly did show us that he's got what it takes to win some of those fights, and they have shown as well that they're certainly willing to use that nano boost. But then again, you know, one of those nano blades did get sleep darted, so you got to watch out for Shy as well on the Chinese side.
Yeah, I think we're going to see...
Looks like RoboCop Zenyatta there. He's gonna get that visor thing going on, doesn't he?
Well, there are many different kinds of Omnics, though, so I don't think they're all Zenyatta, but...
True. I don't think RoboCop's an Omnic either, but I haven't asked him lately. I'll have lunch with him next week and find out.
I look forward to the answer.
He doesn't eat much, that RoboCop.
He has a mouth, though.
He does. That's true, you know. I mean, I suppose technically RoboCop could eat, but I don't know. A mystery for another time as the teams move out on the map. China versus Romania. Romania this time, the red team. China swapping over to the blue for this map, it looks like. Eileen on the Genji, no surprise there. And again, looking at the comps, not a huge amount of surprises. Maybe ML7 on that Sombra.
On this particular map of Nepal, well, I think is a little unusual, but they're trying to get in right now to that large health pack that we see behind Yao Yao, but China's just zoning them so effectively, and they're going to try and get on the point here.
That should be the health pack they're going for, and I think China knows it. Eileen with the kill on ML7 already, so if I was Romania right now, you swap out that Sombra now. China knows what you're trying to do. It's probably not going to work. You got to swap.
I don't know. I think they're going to wait at least for the EMP, because ML7 nearly there already.
Oh, wow, you're right.
We did see a lot of poking. He should not have died right there, but as it stands, they are slowly getting control of the point.
You know,
it's not going to come back.
Romania actually not doing too bad. That EMP, though, I don't know if that was the greatest timing for that. The fight was already over. Ooh, kind of wasted for ML7 there.
Yeah, I do agree. I think you hold on to that, at least for the next engagement. Romania was already winning the battle on the point. MK did have the soldier on the overlook. So China's going to have to come back right now. No ultimates to speak of. Kukubao may be able to get an opening pick here with the pulse bomb, but Eileen is just going to wreck Sema.
Yeah, Zema's been a target for Team China this entire series already. They've been good at hunting him down. Yao Yao, meanwhile, just zoning a little bit as his team tries to take the point, building that control meter up. Shy goes down before Kukubao's pulse bomb even finishes its work. And Romania actually winning this fight for the moment. Yao Yao down as well, and ML7 able to get that kill. Well, not kill, popping MG out of the ult anyway. See ya, D.Va. Your mech's not down there, but the respawn timer is. You can find it down there.
You can't find your mech down there.
I wasn't dying. I was looking for the respawn timer.
Through the respawn shuttle. But Romania doing a great job this time around of getting those first pickoffs, and Kukubao having a lot more success. ML7 coming up on another EMP. China's just been banking ults though, and here we go.
Meza kind of hiding behind, waiting for them to come through, but with that Transcendence, China going in wide open. And Eileen with that kill on MK already, looking for more, finds Meza, gets over to the point before falling to his respawn timer, aka Doom, and China has what it takes to flip that point. They're going to get a little bit more control percentage building here on Sanctum.
Yeah, China only using 3 of their ults. Genji, of course, Tracer, which will come back very quickly, and the Zenyatta Transcendence. So Romania, they're a little bit behind in that ult economy right now, but China holding on to quite a bit. Yeah. And they're looking just to close this out now. Very patient play.
Wow, aggressive sound barrier used by Romania as they come in here. There's the EMP. As soon as the sound, okay, there it is. He's going to go ahead and use it immediately, but that Primal Rage is already going to give a lot of health over to Yao Yao. Another EMP for ML7 that I feel really didn't work out too well. Romania trying to flip the point back, but they're not really able to get on it. Undead zoning out pretty much everybody else. And as they fall back to the point, Romania just doesn't have the team members left to really contest it.
And you're really seeing some, I think, communication issues here from the Romanian team. ML7, as you said, not very useful to go ahead and use that EMP after the Primal Rage has already been popped, because Winston's standing in the choke point just knocking you back anyway. You have no way to join the rest of your team. And it doesn't really matter if Winston can't reposition if he's already where he needs to be, soaking damage and providing that crowd control.
Absolutely. Kukabao going down early, courtesy of Shy. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, you know, look at this, Romania, I feel already kind of split up. Yao Yao does go down, maybe an opening for Team Romania to come back in, but here comes the Dragon Blade. Eileen taking out Sema, immediately looking for some more targets, but he has to dodge out of the way of the self-destruct. Still finds ML7, and it is a rout for Team China. They pretty much rock Romania's world, as it looks like this may be the end of the round. There goes Kukabao, and that is it. China does take the first point here on Nepal.
Well, what I love about that was China's patience. So they lose the first fight, and so often in control, that has such a huge effect on the rest of the map. Of course, you're behind in your ult economy. But Romania was not judicious with how they were chaining their ultimates together. They were overusing them. So what did Team China do? They sit back, wait until they bank all 6 ults, and they have a strong communication. Doesn't matter if it's 70%, as long as you are minimizing your ult usage and coming in with those stronger approaches. So China, I think, did a very good job of communicating and bouncing back from an early deficit. And you don't have to panic if you get down to that 70% if you're confident that you're going to control the point from 0 to 100 immediately thereafter.
Very true. Here we are on Village now, and remember, these control maps for the World Cup are best of 3s. So if China's able to win this round, they will take Nepal, jump out to a 2-0 lead in this series. Everybody rolling in. China with the high ground. Romania aggressive low ground attack, and Rank using the Roadhog. Not actually. Wow, look at this. Kind of old school quad tank going on for Romania. Haven't seen this since like MLG Vegas. Wow. Yeah, but
I do like quad tank on Village in particular because you're standing on the point and you have so many shields, and they have to get into short range combat against a Reinhardt and against a Zarya. But
true enough, sometimes these higher DPS compositions have trouble burning through all the tanks, but it's a pretty even fight so far. Really fast sound barrier for Romania. Man, Sema got that quickly. Eileen with the Dragon Blade, though, looking for some victims, and whoa, 2 for 1 as Meza and Sema fall to 1 slash, and it looks like China is going to be able to claim this point.
Romania can at least come back here. They did get a few % on the control meter, but for now, they need those ultimates. What I don't like about this particular composition, Doa, is having the Ana here, because there's not really a great target for the nano boost unless you're going to get a high energy Zarya or like a Roadhog ult, but that's going to kill the members of China anyway if they get in too close.
More or less, yeah. Now we have the nano boost over on the Meza. There's your nano boost target for you, but he's not really finding anyone. The team is too elusive.
Nice move.
Yeah, great move. But, you know, okay, Earth Shatter coming in. Get anything out of that? No, maybe. Rank does fall. Eileen grabbing kills already. And so as this fight gets wrapped up for China, it looks like, let's talk about that nano boost again, right? It was used on the Reinhardt, and you see the struggle that you have finding targets against a high mobility comp like China's playing. And like you said, Monte Cristo, that nano boost, it's hard to find a good target in this sort of composition matchup.
Well, it's also that Romania's composition functions a lot better if it's holding the point rather than approaching it. They're very slow with this composition to approach, and when you use the nano boost onto the Reinhardt in that fashion, everybody else from China can scatter into the opening, whereas if you wait for them to attack you, they are in range of that Reinhardt hammer.
They just throw in the self-destruct. You know, I was really thinking they were going to go for a pairing with that gravitational surge, or graviton surge rather, but they're not going to do it. Here's the graviton surge now for Romania. Where's the follow-up? Well, I guess the follow-up is just Eileen killing everybody. Come on, Eileen! What are you doing?
Well, that looks like Eileen's doing a lot of work, Noah. So
I had to work that into somewhere. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I'll be here all month, all over the world, actually.
All month, every stop.
Yeah.
Making terrible song references for everybody.
Eileen's only here, though, so it's okay. For now. For now.
Well, decisive. I mean, the Winston bubble was already down for China around the Graviton, so that forced Romania to all in a close area. Made it very easy to just go ahead and deal massive AoE damage with the Genji Blade.
You know, usually when you use the term death ball, it's not the ball itself that's doing the dying, but for Romania, it's kind of looking that way. They use the sound barrier, but Rank can only... he gets reflect killed by Eileen again, I guess. All right, well... Eileen, champion of the universe. And that's going to be about that, as this fight is absolutely going China's way once again. And it will be a 2-0 on Nepal for China and a 2-0 in map score now in favor of China. Romania, a lot of work to do coming up in the second half of this match.
I mean, I like the idea of the 4 tanks, and they did get the initial cap onto the point, but you just have to hold it. It's very hit or miss. It's very snowbally. If they were able to hold it for a longer period of time and actually get, force them to attack them against the nano-boosted Reinhardt, against the Earthshatter and Graviton, there's a lot of potential for that just 100-0 an enemy team. But if you are ever knocked off the point and have to reapproach, I think you just have to call it a day and swap up your composition because it's so incredibly hard to get back onto the point.
Well, we talked about communication a bit too between these, with the Romanian team as well. And when you look at some of the opportunities they had, they could have went for the bigger bang. They could have went for the Graviton Surge paired with the self-destruct from D.Va, but instead they just sort of lobbed the self-destruct over the point as they come in from the left side. And, I feel like when I see that happening, you've got sort of an idea of what you want to do as a team, but understandably, there's just not as much time to put together that cohesion to sort of make it work, right? And, I guess we're on Shrine now. Interesting.
Very, very interesting indeed.
These are supposed to be best of 3s, but hey, I'm not going to complain. The more Overwatch, the merrier, I say. So here we are. And China already ready to take this point. China, of course, our blue team, and the red team being Romania. Sure we'll get the overlay up there eventually.
About doing some work right now, trying to chase around Undead in the Tracer versus Tracer duel. Big melee, but it looks like this eventually is going to swing back on the point in China's favor as they slowly clean things up. And there we go.
Oh, okay, all right. The confusion sets in.
Yeah, definitely
GG! All right, so they are best of 5s, guys, and with China taking the first 2 rounds of Nepal, I think that's about where we're at.
It should be a best of 3, guys, at least for Control, because this is a longer match type overall with the 4 maps. So, and those are pretty definitive, I think, from China.
So. I don't think we needed to play that one out. Sorry, Romania.
Yeah, hopefully they will be able to continue picking the map. So hopefully they can find something that they perhaps have a little bit more purchase on as we move into our last 2 maps, which will be Assault and Escort.
Yep, that's right. We're going to take a quick break before we jump into those maps. But then we'll find out if Romania can maybe come back, at least force a tie. Remember, if you do manage to get that 2-2 tie, you get to play that best of 3 tiebreaker on Oasis. So there's still a chance for Romania, but from the maps we've seen so far, I think the chances are pretty slim for them coming back in this series.
Yeah, they'd have to show some really amazing stuff. But again, if they are going to go more for these risky compositions, now those can pay off if like we saw in Village.
It's all about execution, right?
Well, yes, as long as there are, of course, big caveats, and maybe they can get that surprise. But China seemed really unfazed by that 4 tank, and I think that they've got a very good read. China's communication obviously going very well for them, and their reads working out. So they seem quite prepared.
Right. I mean, what do you do? It's if you're Romania, again, you've made it, you're here. And we talked to some of these guys. They're just kind of happy to be here. I don't think they quite have the expectations to, make it all the way to the finals or anything like that. They just want to show what they've got. Of course, with the Overwatch League coming up, you really want to take opportunities like this as an individual player to really show what you've got, because there's teams out there that are looking.
Well, especially because we have all of these teams from around the world that often have ping issues competing or practicing against other teams because of the distance to servers. So this is a very good opportunity on a low-ping local environment to actually show what you've got.
Well, I think if you go back and you look at last year's World Cup, everybody's kind of thinking about Mickey, right? This player from Thailand that came in, ended up getting picked up by Envious because of his performance at the World Cup, and that could be any one of these players here, too, this year. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. So we're going to take a quick break, guys. We'll be back with the next 2 maps very soon.
The 2017 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, Union Pay, and Blizzard Entertainment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to the desk as we are in halftime for China versus Romania. And I have to say, man, this Chinese roster is looking absolutely stupendous right now. Nothing is stopping them.
That is absolutely correct. I mean, you saw in the first map on Hollywood, their ult management, their positioning, their target calling, it was spot on. There's absolutely nothing I can say which, like, they did wrong, and that was really tough for Romania.
Yeah, speaking of Romania, are we seeing some issues because of the communication and the illness?
Well, you know what? We did see Rank Namoja step up in a big way. He's a teammate outside of the World Cup with ML7, so maybe he's channeling a little bit of that leadership, taking on a little bit of responsibility, and was a star in a couple of those shining moments that we saw for their play on Hollywood. How do you think Rank Namoja's doing here in the absence of maybe a complete and ideal situation for these guys?
Well, as we see in this replay, he actually shut down a nano visor and a sound barrier on that first point attack on Hollywood, and I think that was really their big shining moment as a team, because we weren't really sure if they were even going to take that point. So for him to be able to step up and take the game by the reins right there, I think it was a huge momentum swing, at least for Romania in that moment.
Yeah, in that moment. Right, but that was unfortunately the only moment, because in Streets phase, that's when things got really hairy for them, and they just could not seem to get past that point. So
no, absolutely not. I mean, I think China got a little bit surprised by that EMP. They didn't quite see the direction it was coming from, and I mean, the castles were unsure if this is going to work out. Like, that's an interesting angle for it, but it worked out. But they just couldn't push that payload any further than that.
Yeah.
Like, Chinese defense was just so strong. They didn't let anything through, and there was no way for the DPS of Romania to actually get to the supports of China. They were absolutely untouchable, and like players like Eileen played a big part in that.
Eileen. Oh, Eileen.
Oh, come on, Eileen.
He's unbelievable. I mean, really, from start to finish. One thing I do want to mention real quick, though, I want to give a huge shout out to Shy with a stupendous sleep dart on Rank's Genji.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Rank.
Because Rank was moving. He was moving and shaking. He had it, and then...
He didn't.
Yeah, hit him with the GTS, went to sleep. That was it, done. But let's go ahead and shift gears now to game 2 here. And this one in particular was a little interesting, Flame, because we saw the quad tank pop up here. I felt like we were a couple months back again when we're seeing quad tank action. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it.
It's definitely something that's maybe more fine-tuned for Nepal in general, at least on that village stage. I think that they're just trying to find their footing right now, Romania. They're not sure what's going to work against China. China seems pretty unstoppable at the moment, so they tried a lot of different compositions as the maps went on, and I think that right now that was like their testing ground. And as we move forward into the match, they might figure out, oh, this worked out, this didn't, and then maybe solidify their strats a little bit better.
Do you think that a quad tank thing would work against maybe a bit of a weaker team per se? Because I know a lot of DPS have like problems like slashing and dicing through 4 tanks,
Yeah,
right? It's a lot of HP you get rid of there. But do you think it would have worked against maybe a different team other than China?
It's risky, You come in with the Zarya, you have the Reinhardt. If you miss your Shatter, you miss your Graviton, then suddenly those heroes are not as impactful as you wanted them to be. So there's not a lot of room for error. So you can make it work. It's a lot more difficult, I think, than maybe running the dive. So I don't think the dive was working for them, and then that was their kind of fallback. Let's see if this can work.
This was their like safety net, right? That they needed to have in this case. I mean, you could see the Reinhardt struggling to hit targets, right? That was my major takeaway here. Couldn't find anything to hit.
Absolutely. It was interesting that they went 4 tank, and with Winston so popular right now, Winston did not make the cut of the 4.
Yeah, it seemed like it just did not go with their flow. But hey, you know what? They have 2 more, 2 more sets to go here, 2 more games, and we'll see if they're going to be able to make it happen. But we did get a chance to speak to all of the players throughout this entire week. It's been an incredible experience for all of them. Let's go ahead and take a look.
作为东道主参加揭幕赛，我觉得非常荣幸啊。我们也会给每一位观众带来最精彩的比赛。相对于对抗罗马尼亚，我觉得我们也会誓死搏出的一种实力吧。我想我们应该会零分对手。
We're very happy that we're the first team to participate in the World Cup. We've worked very hard for this, so we hope it's gonna pay off. And against China, I think we can take at least 2 maps. Like, we've worked very, very hard for this, and we studied them a lot, and we think we really have a shot at this. Even though we're the underdogs, the last team in the World Cup, I think we really can compete against the first one.
And it has been an incredible experience, not only for us, but for the players as well, to be here in Shanghai, China. And this venue has just been awesome. The fans, they're on fire for the home team here.
They really are. And I'm wondering if that, like, how intimidating must that be for the other team? Yeah, I mean, I totally didn't expect that, right? Like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just started going off screaming.
Our desk is shaking.
Like, oh, okay, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Chinese team really didn't disappoint them. They went hard. Like, they went 100% right from the get-go.
Eileen might have had one of the best individual performances we might see throughout the rest of this weekend. That's how good I think he just played on that Genji.
Yeah, I've become an Eileen fan, man. Like, just everything that he did. And, you know, again, right, we're seeing just brief glimpses of inspiration and hope out of this Romania team, right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about that first point on Hollywood, you know, the unconventional Sombra EMP that kind of opened things up for them. But really, it has just been the Eileen show, right? Like, everything that he does seems to just work out so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I'm wondering why, when we talked to the coach of IG Firewire, he said he's almost the best Genji in China.
Yeah.
I personally feel like he's kind of.
Well, I don't know if you remember, he said everyone was the best, almost the best.
So he every time we asked, like, so how good of a player is that? He always went like, maybe top 3. Yeah. Maybe almost the best.
Yeah.
Like,
he said maybe top 3, maybe
very
top
political.
2. Yeah,
I mean, if he keeps telling them that, it gives them room for improvement. Maybe he doesn't want them to get comfortable.
You never want them to know that they are great, right?
Don't tell them.
Forget
Don't
that.
tell them.
But I mean, like, you know, and there you have it. China. Boom. Done. There, boom goes the dynamite.
They can.
They can, and they will. Yes, this Chinese team, we were talking about it before, praising everything that they did so right in this. But their opponents on the other side, Rachel.
You know what? Some of the casters, Doe and Monty, were talking a little bit about this, but this is a chance for individual players to shine as well. So maybe the team won't be able to break through, you know, the Great Wall here, but we'll see. These Romanian players, they can do it.
And there you have it, Romania.
They definitely know how to strike a pose.
Yeah,
hey,
that's
strike a pose.
Well, I really think with Rangnamoja here and how much he's bringing to the table, maybe Meza too, we can see some individual plays that are going to put them on the international map for teams looking to pick things up, especially as we move into OWL here. So there's really no ceiling on what this event can do for the players.
Anything to add, Flame?
I mean, the tank play has been pretty good. I think that they're just not protecting the supports as much as they maybe want to. But Kukabao is also having a very good game. And Emka on that 76 on Nepal actually had a really good individual showing as well. So I think that they have signs of life.
All right, guys, well, let's go ahead and send it over to the commentators to get these next 2 games going. Take it away, boys.
Hey, welcome back. Doe and Monte Cristo here for the second half of the China-Romania match. It's more like the, you know, China and, you know, I think there's another team there, but I'm sorry, that's really harsh. But it has been one-sided. China clearly coming out as the definitively better team here, and, you know, what do you think we're going to see for the next 2 maps, Monte Cristo?
Well, you know what? I like what Romania is doing because we are moving into Assault, and the map selection is Horizon Lunar Colony. So
that's right.
This, of course, is going to be the first tournament that we're going to be able to see this in. So if you're Romania, I think you just have to go with the surprise here. Hope that they don't have a lot of practice playing on this map. See if you can take them off guard by some unusual picks, and we're really going to see over the course of this next month with the Overwatch World Cup how this map is going to develop and evolve, because this is its first time really in a professional rotation.
Yeah, this is going to be great. This is our first time getting to cast this map. Now there it is, Horizon Lunar Colony, the newest map to join the Overwatch map pool. It is an Assault map, of course, and the enhanced apes seem to be gone, at least in this part of the colony.
Well, except for Winston.
Except for that one, yeah. That one's still around. But, you know, no, Winston, he's actually supposed to be one that's specifically gone.
Yeah, exactly, but he's the only one there.
I guess so.
Interesting. Huh. Interesting times on Horizon.
Where did those other apes go, Winston? Can you answer that question? Where are you on the night of February the 14th?
Yeah, he clearly
peanut butter everywhere. Man.
Came back to clean up his corrupt brethren, you know.
That's right. He didn't want anyone to talk.
It was the great monkey.
He's behind it all.
It was the great monkey massacre of Horizon.
That's right. Oh man, jeez, this got dark fast. Poor Patel, Yoshida, Nevsky, Azareli, Winston. Winston, his suit is gone. What does it mean? Well, it means he's probably wearing it. Anyway, here we are. Horizon Lunar Colony. I'm having fun with this map already. And we will see if Romania's map choice can pan out. And it's like you said, you know, you're down 0-2. Things are looking pretty grim for Romania. Why not go crazy? Play a map that has been never seen before in a tournament like this. See what you can do.
Yeah, I think it's really the only choice you could have made. Volskaya is the other map in this pool for Assault for the duration of the group stages, but why give China something that they've probably practiced on a lot before?
Yeah.
Try something new. So definitely agree with that. And looks like we are going to see Romania on the attack first.
Seems to be.
Yeah, Undead at least showing the Reaper right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to approach this first point from multiple levels, so there's a lot of verticality here. Can be difficult to hold this first point in some of the professional scrims I've seen on this map.
That's right. Generally, that's it. Man, these fans are crazy. I love it. Generally, that's what you see, though. That point A tends to fall very fast on Horizon Lunar Colony, and then it's kind of a matter of can you hold point B for like 7 minutes, right? And so that actually is a doable thing, interestingly enough. Point B is very defensible. ML7 having to back away. He's on the Reaper now. We've got Reapers on both sides. Yeah, great biotic grenade coming in. But it's really interesting to see the Reapers on both sides with all the small corners and close quarters fighting. Reaper is actually one of the better heroes on this map. I like that we're seeing it out of both teams.
Yeah, there's so many ways to approach as well, and we're going to see Romania try and get through this choke point, but they are just getting raked by the Tesla cannon from Yao Yao right now.
I mean, that's the thing, is you can control a lot of these zones very effectively too, because it's a lot of narrow fighting. China, though, getting into point A anyway. Now Romania has to try to come back. ML7 looking for targets. There is a kill onto Yao Yao. Rank, though, goes down courtesy of Eileen. Who else, right? And Romania hit with another big biotic grenade, struggling to stay alive. Undead, though, helping them start to stabilize a little bit.
Here comes the nano boost, though. It's going to chain right into the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, that's right. See what he can get out of it.
Nice move. Not going to find the Tracer on the side. Does get a slash. Finally gets her.
Yeah. Kukabao does go down, and China will be able to hold point A for now.
That was really close, but China did a good job again. Their communication looking strong, nano boost. Even though Eileen didn't quite have the Dragon Blade up, it was close enough to get the necessary damage. Charge up that ult the rest of the way. And that was it. Also, MG protecting Undead from behind with that defensive matrix throughout that last fight really helped him win the duel against ML7.
Sure enough. China now having to defend point A again. Romania coming in with the sound barrier. Yao Yao focused down, has to pop that Primal Rage just to stay alive. And there's a Pulse Bomb, managed to stick 5 King, it looks like. And China in a little bit of trouble here. Romania may have found their option, but Undead with 2 kills already. Rank needs to follow it up, cuts him right out of Wraith form. Just as he came out in Romania, finally able to claim point A here. And it's like we said, you expect to be able to take point A when you're on attack on Lunar Colony. Now the question is, can you take point B? Point B is difficult because it's kind of this big open square with high ground basically all around it. So it is one of the more defendable points, I think, out of assault maps. And I'm curious to see what China's got for that, positioning-wise.
Yeah, I do think that holding on to the Reaper for both teams is a wise call. Reaper, again, good on some of these more enclosed spaces that constitute the approaches.
Oh, Yao Yao coming down. Looking for those vulnerable, squishy targets. Die, but ML7 not really finding anybody with that. Maybe was booped away, didn't quite see how that Death Blossom ended up being, you know, not too consequential. And China looking like they're putting together a pretty solid defense here.
Well, what that Death Blossom did do was get some ticks on the point, but China read it well and was just off it, and it's not going to go up to that first tick at all.
Yep. Oh, body blocking Emka, that mini diva is going to be so late getting back with the team. Look at that, and what that does, if you're kind of new to Overwatch, is it staggers the respawns in a way where now Romania has to wait even longer to attack with full force.
And China winning these fights, Dilla, and not using ults again, nearly having that full suite of 6 ultimates to use. Romania trying to switch over now back to a double support composition, moving ML7 to the Ana. So looking to control the high ground a little bit, see if they can land that sleep dart against one of these ulting targets, because China's going to be hard to crack.
All right, Dragon Blade time. Eileen has his paired with the nano boost as well. Already a couple kills for China. Romania's attack falling pretty flat right out of the gate, and that is going to be another defense for China. Took all of about 10 seconds there.
Unless ML7 hits a sleep dart onto the Genji, you don't have any support ultimates. There's nothing really you're going to be able to do if they commit both the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade to that engagement.
Yeah.
So I think they're smart, just hold on. Romania has to methodically pull all of the ultimates out of China if they want to win this and work on getting their own support ults to combat. So just a slow grind here as Romania is going to keep trying to junk push their way forward and try and gain an ult economy advantage.
China has so many ults to burn through. I mean, if they're efficient with this, they can last forever. Undead holding onto that Death Blossom, getting chased out here. Here's the Dragon Blade coming in for rank. Death Blossom immediately. Oh, he saved that to the perfect time. Undead ready to counter the Dragon Blade by just killing the Genji with his own ult as soon as he passed by. Romania trying to hold on to this attack, but it is over, man. China seems like they've got the defense, and again, Romania not able to even take that first tick on the control meter.
Yeah, Romania really just needed to hold on there and slowly bleed the ultimates out of China. Instead, they overcommit, and that resets their own ult economy. So now China's pretty much going to have a perpetual advantage right here. Romania's going to have to come up with some really big plays if they want to take point B.
Yeah. You know, one of the interesting things with Lunar Colony is that because you can generally take point A so fast, you have the luxury of kind of dry pushing for a little while to build up that big 6 ult push. And like you said, Romania, by overcommitting there, kind of is depriving themselves of the option to even do that.
Yeah, now they're just going to be behind for the next couple of minutes. Seems so somewhat unlikely without a huge pickoff or something of that sort that they're going to be able to get the necessary snowball here, because of course the stall on these assault point Bs can be very devastating and expertly executed by professional teams.
Here we go again. Eileen with the Nano Blade finding a pick on ML7 already, and how many times have we seen this in the first 3 maps already? Eileen just cutting apart Team Romania. Another kill at the end on the Meza. Delayed it just a bit, again, to try to stagger those respawns, and Romania back to the drawing board. They've got the Dragon Blade. It looks like they'll have their own Nano Boost to pair with it when this attack comes. So they've got an option, but again, just it seems like if they were only a bit more patient, they could attack with a stronger sort of overall ult advantage.
Well, maybe they can make it work now, but Five King has been so on point with the sound barriers that that's the big counter that comes out. So they have to convince Five King that he wants to use the sound barrier early and then try and get the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade out later. But China will definitely know those ults are up.
Here we go again. Sound barrier trying to make rank not able to do too much with that Dragon Blade. Has to deal with that reflect. Gets pushed back. Gets nothing out of the ult combo. Meanwhile, Undead finds a kill onto MK before he has to Wraith form away. And Romania just still trying to scrap their way onto a little bit of time on this point. If only they could get the first tick, at least that would be something, but it's looking like that's not even going to be an option as China finally getting the cleanup kills, and with only a minute left on the clock, it's desperation mode for Romania.
I mean, China is doing an excellent job of keeping track of Romania's ult timers. Everything you can see, they've already talked about how they're going to defend against the next attack. They know which ultimates are available. And Romania, they're not being tricky at all. They're engaging with Dragon Blades and Nano Boosts. Most professional teams already have the ace up their sleeve to deal with that if you're going to be sort of that transparent in the way that you're attacking. And it makes it very easy for Five King just to use that sound barrier. Had a nice boot there as well. They've been so ready for everything Romania has thrown at them.
Very true. Speaking of Dragon Blades and Nano Boost, here comes Eileen yet again looking for some targets. Does get a bit zoned out this time. Not able to get anything out of it. Finally does take down Kookaburra at the end, but China, the rest of his teammates, meanwhile, Undead does get sleep darted, but whoa, 2 kills with MG self-destruct. That is not supposed to happen, and now just a couple seconds remaining. It doesn't look like Romania is even going to be able to get a single tick here on point B on their Lunar Colony attack. There's the cleanup, just getting rid of the Tracer, and as time ticks away, Rank Moja comes back in one more time. They're going to keep the attack going with a few more stragglers. Sound barrier for China there. They're going to continue to try to clean this one up, and there we go. All right, the defense, and China holds Romania to just 1 point.
Absolutely. Well, What can you say? More impressive coordination from China. You can tell that a lot of these guys are these LGD players that have played together significantly over this year already in professional tournaments, and the integration of a guy like Five King, who has been absolutely crushing it on the Lucio this series, has really made them pretty scary.
And Five King is a Lucio that a lot of people are watching right now in China. He's really kind of emerged as one of the best out there, and you can tell. Sometimes it's easy for the supports to kind of get lost in the shuffle, but if you look at the timings for these guys' sound barriers, the boops that he's doing to push the crucial member of the enemy team away at just the right moment, that is some stellar Lucio play.
I mean, he's just nullifying the DPS, right?
Absolutely,
there haven't been effective ult usage from Romania so far. Outside of the one Dragon Blade that they pulled on Hollywood, everything else has been absolutely stuffed and stifled by this China team.
That is correct, and we are going to switch sides now. China on the attack, Romania on the defense. It's a nice climbing wall in there, actually. I kind of want to do that.
Go into the monkey room, swing on some tires.
That looks fun. After the cast today, I'm going to have to check it out.
You're going to go in there?
I need a bit of exercise. Yeah. Sounds good. I'm going to go up to the moon for a little while after the cast.
I mean, either way, whether you were going to go into a video game like Tron or go to the moon, I was sort of doubting you could do either of those things.
I was thinking go into the video game like Captain and the Game Master personally, but, you know, to each his own, I suppose.
What, you're not into light cycles? They probably have those on the moon.
Oh, I like Tron. You know, I just feel like there's more options in Captain N. You got Mega Man, you got, you know, Simon Belmont, all that stuff. You got a lot of options. Where you want to go. I'm going to go to the moon. Here we go.
Well, we'll see.
Romania on the defense this time. Interesting. Widowmaker for MG. All right. Let's see what he can do.
There are some longer sidelines here. I am a bit skeptical about how this is going to work, especially since nobody's showing right now. They certainly will not be expecting a Widowmaker. Looks like they're going to look directly at the point, but Kukabao is going to get that kill right away. Nice read from Romania.
Yeah, that happens sometimes as a Widowmaker. You just get jumped on, and yeah, we'll probably see that swap now. Yao Yao going down early, and I think China may just have to back off. I don't think they were expecting such an aggressive defense coming in from Romania here.
Oh, good job by Romania. Get the big clean up everybody thereafter. Also, a bit of a question mark. Why was China actually coming all the way around to the flank with only 5 people left up? I mean, Undead, got not even a tick on that. Couldn't quite back cap it here as the Tracer, but really sloppy approach there from China after the pick occurred. MG gonna stick on the Widowmaker, so they are doubling down on this, though. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I've seen Widowmaker used pretty effectively at point B, actually, but point B a little bit less often in the scrims I've seen, so it is interesting to see MG go for this. He is sticking with it. He does get the pick on the MK, though, and actually with the kills coming in, he may have gotten enough damage done, may have gotten enough space to get those shots in that China should be able to take point A now.
Undead's tracking very, very good, as we see from this perspective. Absolutely cleaning up the remainder of the fight in the climbing room, and that will be a quick point A cap. The pick did end up working with the Widowmaker getting the headshot onto MK's Soldier, but they are going to have to contest with a nano boost now from Romania here on point B.
Indeed, and probably going to have to contest with the tactical visor too. MK pretty close to building that up. Should be able to get it pretty fast. China kind of coming from the left side here. You got to watch out for those heroes up on the rafters up above. Undead with the kill on the ML7 already, so no nano boost for Romania in this fight. MK goes down as well before he gets that tactical visor, and China already with a good start to this fight. Whoa, Tsema just kind of on his own. Looks like they're going to go ahead and pop the Transcendence here. Eileen staying alive as Undead grabs a kill onto Rank. There's a sound barrier now for China as they try to clean up this point and get a little bit more going. Remember, they only need to get to that first tick to win the map because Romania didn't really get any time with that. ML7 manages to dodge the pulse bomb, but he can't dodge a fist. Oh well. And China, they lost Undead, but they still have a bit of a fight going here on the point. Nice reflect on the Kukabao.
Very good reflect, and that's going to be the cleanup from Eileen.
Wow.
Self-destruct, not going to be able to save them. Winston Bubble was down.
Eileen. So good. Transcendence coming in for China now. It's Disco Fever for Shy as he's trying to help his team get a couple more kills. They don't need much of the control meter to win, and Eileen just seconds away. There's the Dragon Blade right now, and immediately the kills come in. That'll do it, and China will take Lunar Colony. That is 3-0 for them. here so far in this 4-match set.
Yeah,
or
looking
map set.
convincing again.
Yes.
Did take it 2-1, so Outsiders transitioning that fight straight into that victory. It looked promising there for Romania for a minute because I did think they had a nice nano boost timing onto Meza as he was exiting the Primal Rage, and it looked like the tide might have been able to turn, but the picks from Eileen and getting the second Transcendence and Dragon Blade proved just a little too much for Romania's defense.
I mean, we're definitely seeing that there's some good players on Romania, right? Obviously, there's some talent there, but what seems to be lacking, again, like we've talked about with the other maps, is that coordination. And China seems to have that in spades.
I think Romania's in a rough spot. You know, as we were talking about, their team captain, ML7, has strep throat, can barely talk right now, and certainly if he's the one coordinating those ultimates and coordinating the target selection, then you are going to have a few problems, and we're definitely seeing that today.
Well, one more map in this 4-map set between China and Romania. Once again, Romania does get the map choice. We'll see what they decide to go with. Should just be pure escort this time around. It's fun to see a game on Lunar Colony, though.
Yeah, it was, and it's interesting that we are seeing some of these picks, especially the Reaper. Does make a lot of sense with the changes to how he regains health now, with the 20% of his damage. Does make it so you could really scrap out on some of these assault points. We had already been seeing him in increased usage on certain assault maps because he does play that janitor role so well, where he can come in, and once you already get the initial pick off, it's very hard to retake the point from him because of his damage and sustain, and you have to walk into those shotguns.
And with Lunar Colony, I mean, there's so many tight quarters fights that happen on this map that you take those changes that he got in that recent patch and you add into that the perfect geography for Reaper, similar to what we'd see on like Anubis Point B, and he can really come around the corner and just blast you at close range, and when you get that healing attached to all that, it's tough to stop him.
Yeah, I'm curious if we are going to see more of the Widowmaker style moving forward. It is that's the first time I've really seen that in some of these scrims that I've watched on this map. But I do see how it could be effective because you do have that long angle directly onto the point, but you do have to be super careful that the dive composition, the Tracer, the Genji, is not going to come around the back, because the rest of your team has to sneak very slowly all the way around into the flank of the point before that really becomes effective, and the other team has to fight you there where you have those open shots.
That's right. Well, let's find out what the next map is going to be. Looks like it's going to be Dorado for our final map here in this match between China and Romania, our kickoff match for the 2017 Overwatch World Cup. It's good to be back, man. You know, we did the World Cup last year. It was a ton of fun. I love this tournament. I love how it kind of brings everybody together from all over the world, and it's good to be getting going in this kind of expanded format this year.
Yeah, especially with how much professional Overwatch has happened in China in the interim, too. A lot of growth, of course, in the Chinese scene, and certainly are showing it off here today. Romania may not be their toughest opponent in this group, but they are certainly having a statement match already, being up 3-0.
Wow, those trumpets, man. Tearing through my eardrums right now. Here we go, Dorado, our escort map. And it's looking like we do have Romania on the attack first, from what we can see on our other screen.
Right, they will be picking the map, but of course China in as
hey, look, we were just there.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
We came back really fast.
Lunar Colony. Wow. Now it's time for Sepandaria las Neblas.
Wow, I'm really impressed by your Spanish.
If only it was in Korean, I would do much better. Yeah, not a lot of Korean restaurants in Dorado, I imagine, but
no Korean map yet either.
Not yet. We got to get one.
Got to get one of those.
Yeah.
Someday. Well,
I got some ideas.
You got some ideas?
That's right.
What are your ideas, Noah?
Well, there's quite a few. I think you could do a cool Jeju Island one where you would like fight in the lava tunnels underneath the island. See, there's 3 UNESCO World Heritage sites on Jeju Island. There's 3 points in a control map. I'm just saying, it's a great idea, Blizzard. That one's free. Here we go. Dorado, China on the defense, looking to close out this 4-game set that they have looked very dominant in.
Yeah, looking like we're not going to see anything too unorthodox. Looks like an early Sonic Arrow from Sema. Is he actually going to stick? Nope, going to switch back off to that, making sure that China was not going to be attacking them right off the bat, and instead staying towards the high ground right in front of the marketplace.
Yep, Eileen in the flanking position behind for China's defense. Romania having to fight attacks coming from all sides already. And Shy, I've loved watching this guy Zenyatta play for this map. He's gotten the picks when they've mattered the most. His positioning has been really good. I'm very impressed by Zenyatta.
I'm pretty impressed by the entire China team roster so far.
But I'm a Zenyatta main, so I'm biased with that. You got to watch out for the Winsons, though. Any Zenyatta knows that. Meza comes up to knock China off that high ground defense as Romania keeps that payload moving. Ooh, a rank does go down, though. Romania having to back off here a little bit, maybe. Yeah, this push is going to get stuffed, and such an aggressive defense for China. You usually don't see teams playing it quite this far up, but, you know.
But what I love is the reactionary play from China. They're playing a relatively defensive style because they're waiting for Romania to engage. They wanted to get the Zenyatta Shy off the high ground, but the response is as soon as they send somebody up there, guess who's also up there? It's the Genji, it's the Winston, it's the Diva. As Shy drops the low ground, they get the pick, and then they turn back their attention towards the cart. So
very true.
China just waiting for Romania to engage pretty much every time.
You know, we're seeing a little bit of what we've seen before in Hollywood, where China's just really ready for any flanks to come in. Transcendence for Shy, trying to keep people up. Kukubao does go down. I don't think China's going to have too much trouble keeping people alive here. China does have to, or rather Shy does have to back away. That sound barrier probably saving his life right there. He was getting a bit low. But Romania, meanwhile, pushed all the way back to spawn. Oh, man. This is, I don't know if I've seen a defense this strong since, like, Envious versus Mode 7, like, way back in the day.
Well, look at what China's doing, though. So they pop the Transcendence as soon as the engagement occurs. Okay, so Romania then responds with a sound barrier of their own. Then they try and resume this attack. But 5king just chaining the support ultimates back to back, gets his own sound barrier out. And that leads to China just having this increased level of discipline about how to deal with this. Lots of shurikens bouncing back and forth between reflects.
Yes. And already we saw Meza drop to that pulse bomb from Undead. He found that solo pick. Kukubao sneaking around the outside. If he can take out one or two of the supports, maybe he can open up a path for Romania to go through. But nope, doesn't work out. And Romania in a lot of trouble here. Shy, no tricky right-click kills right there. Meza pops that Primal Rage. Shy getting really low, but in the end, despite losing 5king, it's looking pretty good for China.
I mean, they just can't get onto the back line, though. No. How many times have they tried to kill Shy so far, and they just can't quite get far enough over? Nano Boost is up. Can they turn this into a potential victory?
Oh, it's close. Eileen coming in with the Dragon Blade, and he's going to answer that question for you, Monte Cristo. Couple kills is making it look like probably not. But remember, we're still so far up in this map that the respawns are going to come in really quick for Romania. Oh, and man, if they had been able to get one or two more kills there, maybe they would have been able to get things pushing. But another defense for China, and yeah, I have not seen the payload stopped this far up in a long time on Dorado.
Well, ML7 too, he's been sitting on this nano boost for a while, but hasn't had a worthy target. And now that rank was shut down in the middle of his Dragon Blade, there's not really going to be a great opportunity to use that unless they want to drop it onto Meza, and they might have to.
Yep. All right. Last ditch effort for Romania. They've got the nano boost to use here. We'll see if that works out. The payload did get moving a little bit. China gave up some ground to bring it back. City center here. Sound barrier used by Romania, still trying to push ahead. Shy did drop. Undead though, if he can get that kill into rank, that would be huge. Rank does go down courtesy of Eileen. Another kill coming in for China. And it looks like they may be able to lock it up right here, right now. The pulse bomb should do it. Not even needing it to get the kill onto ML7. Sound barrier for China as well. As the cleanup comes in, they've got a primal raging Winston to deal with. That's a lot of health to burn through, but eventually it will be burned through. Remember, the respawns for Romania are really close, so they can still keep pushing this, but it's OT now, and that bar is going to start dropping faster and faster. That should be it. Nope, we're still going.
We're still going, Doa, but the Orb of Discord is there. Eileen's on the back flank, and that is going to be at the full hold coming through, so we aren't going to see China have to move this payload very far.
I guess not, yeah. Well, some somber faces on the side of Romania. It's been a one-sided series. You know, what can you say? That China, you know, really showing us that they are a team to be reckoned with. You know, again, they were a top 8 team in the World Cup last year. And they're starting off looking like a team that could certainly get at least that far again.
Well, they started off this entire Overwatch World Cup as the #1 seed, so they had to be respected. Of course, that wasn't determined by professional team play, but was determined by rank on the ladder. So not necessarily the best indicator of how players will coordinate as a unit. Of course, in terms of individual ability, does say something. But when you look at China's coordination here, they have been impressive.
And that was a big deal for China, actually, to do that. A lot of people were expecting Korea to take the #1 seed, and they did have that position for a lot of that initial stage. But China pulling ahead at the end, taking it, getting themselves this match against Romania to begin things. And that is all the farther they need to push the payload to make this a 4-0 victory over Romania.
Yeah, looking like that is all but a certainty at this point in time, unless Romania can put together a truly epic defense. And unfortunately for Romania too, because they have to hold it there for 4 minutes, they are going to have to play equally as aggressive on their defense. They're going to have to play very far forward, and because they just can't even give up a meter here, really, if they don't want the time to tick out and for them to just lose on this point A.
Now we've got Undead hovering over the Farah at the moment. Would be an interesting pick, but given what they might be expecting Romania to play, the Farah could be a surprise and could be a hero that's very hard to deal with. You don't really see a lot of heroes on Romania's side that can handle it.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, if you are expecting Romania not to be running a long-range hit scan hero like a Soldier 76, then the Farah can do work, and Farah already up top. Yo, kill Sema virtually instantaneously.
Dude, well, it was a combination of the Winston damage and the rocket damage from Undead, I believe, and they knew exactly where Romania was going to be, dove in there, took him out so fast. In the end, Yao Yao does go down, and they do lose the mech for MG.
But Rank is going to die as well, and with the closer spawn times, that's going to be Kukubao getting cut through by a Genji dash, and China looks like they will just have a cakewalk here on Dorado.
Well, meanwhile, the payload is still moving through all this. That's right, while the fight was happening, and China just keep pushing it forward. 1 meter to go before they take this victory, and that is going to be it. China, perhaps unsurprisingly, they didn't need to push the payload too far. They get the win on Dorado, and they will 4-0 Romania here in the opening match at the Overwatch World Cup.
Well, that took all of 44 seconds to push through to that point. Of course, so close just at the beginning of the marketplace.
Yeah.
But it has been a very, very, very convincing first match from China.
I would say so, and you know, what more appropriate way to end it than a play of the game from Eileen. This guy's Genji play is just out of this world. I haven't seen him play a ton in the past, but this guy's insane.
Yeah, did very well, especially with the coordination around the Dragon Blade. So the synergy certainly there, and his setup looks good, and China trying to make a statement, say they are the ones to defeat here in Group A.
Right, I mean, this is what the fans wanted too, right? They didn't want them to go easy on Romania. They wanted that crushing victory, and that's exactly what they got. China looking extremely dominant in this first match. And obviously, just like we kind of expected, just like everyone was kind of expecting, a team to watch coming out of this group stage.
Yeah, and every map important too. So the 4-0 score is going to be quite meaningful. You want to really stack up your big map advantage because that will determine the placement at the end when we have the seedings. And getting first place here means that you play second place of the other group for that slot at BlizzCon, which probably means, at least early on, that you might avoid Team France, which is another heavy hitter here in Shanghai.
I mean, just looking forward, that's the other team everyone's kind of watching. Team France coming up a little bit later today, but there it is, Team China. Really stellar opening performance by these guys, and what better way to kick things off for the home team, home crowd, than a 4-0.
And a truly convincing 4-0 at that.
Crushing 4-0.
This was not a close match, unfortunately, for Romania. So we'll see, hopefully, if they can bounce back later in the group stage.
So that's it for Monty and I for the moment. We'll catch you guys in a little bit.
The 2017 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, Union Pay, and Blizzard Entertainment.